I'm broken to break. Watch me blooming strong. Bare and becoming. This is my song. Finding my voice. Stepping into light. Healing my past. Claiming my fight. Every woman's journey. Beautiful and true. Bare and becoming. I'm becoming new.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's Thursday morning, and it is Bare and Becoming. Yeah, so we are back. It's February, and can you believe it? Jan is gone.
Yeah.
Gone, guys, gone. You will not see January 26th again.
So true.
Is verby. So we in Feb. And we are excited this morning because this is a very interesting topic that is really something that is happening on a daily basis. So I actually, honestly, am feeling very passionate about this topic because I've seen things happening, in this journey of life. So yes, man, so if you are with us, please comment. Give your sixpence. Wat sê hulle? Daai jare het hulle ons ouers gesê sixpence. It's nou
2 cents.
It's nou 2 cents. It's nou jou 2 cents, right?
Okay.
So or your 5 cents.
Yeah.
So you can actually comment and tell us what's on your mind.
Yes.
You know, our topic for this morning is actually bullying at schools. So let me say it slowly. Bullying. Bullying at school, right? So that is our topic. And I know there's a lot of parents out there, and maybe your child is being bullied or is the bully. Oh. Yanna, man. So you never know,
Are we
never
stepping
know.
on toes?
Yay, man. So come on, guys. Please talk to us. We have interesting people in the studio this morning. Ja, en ook ons het gaan woete. Ons het eintlik ook a teacher. We have a teacher in the studio here this morning with us. So yes, before we're gonna just allow them to greet you.
We're only giving saved answers. I'm just asking for a friend.
Ja, wat sal jy doen eerlikwaar? Wat sal jy doen? What will you
We're
do?
only giving saved answers. I'm just asking for a friend.
Ja, wat sal jy doen eerlikwaar? Wat sal jy doen? What will you do? To be quite honest, what will you do?
Because let's be real, as a parent,
Yeah.
you beside yourself. As jou kan seer gemaak, as jy gaan to the ends of the earth gaan vir jou kind. So let's be honest. you know?
Okay, just be honest, guys. Just be honest. Just be honest.
I'll be bare today.
Yeah, because we are on the show on Bare and Becoming, right? We remember now, it's no longer Talk with Joan, it's Bare and Becoming. So yeah, we will announce it for the entire month. Talk with Joan is now Bare and Becoming. So that is, we are most bare, na? Ons is most
Yes.
honest,
Yes.
right? And then we becoming. Ja, ons word
Right.
beter
Yes.
elke dag.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Want ons leer elke dag.
That's
We are,
right.
ek het my Afrikaanse airtime. Ek het,
Oh,
ja,
wow.
my Engelse airtime het bietjie opgeraak.
There we go.
I'm with you this
But
morning.
yeah, but yeah. If you don't know Afrikaans, woo, we're speaking in tongues, guys. So nevertheless, I'm going to ask the ladies to just greet you and say hi to you. And then I'm going to ask our guest who's in the studio with us, if you can just introduce yourself. What is your profession? Are you married, in case there are guys watching the show, so you never know. So yeah. So yes, up to you, Vi.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Violet, one of the regulars here, a co-host on the Bare and Becoming show. And as always, it's such a pleasure to be with these beautiful ladies. And I'm looking forward to this interesting conversation, the topic that we're going to have. I'm not sure if it's going to be contentious for some people, but or sensitive. But for me, it's a very important
It's vital.
topic.
Yeah.
It's very vital that we have this conversation with everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we also have a teacher and a millennial, may I add,
Yes.
because now we get
That's
the
important,
relevant,
right?
yeah,
The now
up to
information.
date, the right now information. So welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome,
Nice
welcome.
having you.
Okay.
Exciting times in the studio today, and
Yeah.
I think this is a topic that it should be dear to any parent's heart because our children get involved at school. They have to go to
Yes.
school. They have to
Yeah.
interact with other kids, and whether they are the aggressor or receiving some of the treatment, I think this is a topic that we should all
Yeah.
be aware of what's going
Yeah.
on in South
Yes.
African schools. So yeah, this is something it's a good topic for me to delve into. I just don't know if my answers will be well received in my bare state this morning. But good morning, good morning to everybody who's watching. We're so excited to be with you guys here
Yes.
this morning and to host the show as well alongside Joan, Violet, and our guest. Yeah, that's gonna take some getting used to. But anyway,
Yeah.
Also, I just want to say good morning to everybody who's here, just the people who's already commented. We've got Colin Seaford, Pastor Eileen is in the comments, Shade Klassen. We've got, Pastor Eileen is on all the platforms. We like the support, we like it. And then Auntie Heather's there. Then Marvin Matthews is also in the comments. And then, yes, Pastor Eileen, we'll be delving into the comments later on in the show. But welcome, drop a comment, be part of the conversation. We are so excited to jump into it. And last but not the least, save the best for last. Can we have a drum roll? We would like to welcome LeShunne. Tell us about yourself.
Good morning, good morning. My name is LeShunne Motaung. I am married, unfortunately.
Eish,
Shame.
sorry,
Back. I'd like to keep it. I'm fine, really. Back. I'd like to keep it. I'm fine, really.
That's a valid
I
reason.
am, okay, I am really fine. But yeah, that's me.
You never know, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mens wat kan weet, maar God
Vra maar vir my,
Yes.
vra maar vir my, ek gaan vir jou sê. Yes, so I would like to know from you, what would you do when your child is being bullied?
I'm going last.
Okay. I can share some experiences. My children have never been bullied. I mean, they're still fresh and new on this earth. They just arrived. But experiences with bullying at school. I've had an incident in Eldorado Park at my previous school where a child was bullying another child, and then the parent came to, I guess, confront the aggressor. And that went left. The parent came off ramped, and that was not the most fun experience for that child. Because what ends up happening is the parent doesn't realize it was a father. The parent didn't realize that he actually traumatized that little person.
Wow.
And this person came from an unfortunate background where the child wasn't able to really stand up for himself, you know, up against the father, who is obviously this tall person, he's big in his stature. So the child wasn't actually, he wasn't in the best position in that situation. But I think what most parents want is to just, I guess, speak to the right way to do it.
Yeah,
Is to call the school if the bullying is taking place at school. Call the school, sit with the class teacher, sit with the principal, the child's parents, your child, and both kids in the same room or not. It just depends. I always find that when it's better when both kids are in the room and then they can share and explain what actually took place. Because in most cases, it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
It's not always bullying. In most cases, it's genuinely just a misunderstanding.
Wow.
Words were exchanged, you know, the wrong word was said, or somebody spoke about something that was a bit more triggering or sensitive to the next person.
But what will you do when your child is bullied?
Your own child.
Your own
What
child.
will you do?
Your own child.
If it's at school, we have a conversation with the child and the parent. If it's at home and not in a school situation, same situation. You discuss what I feel like as adults we should discuss, rather than coming with violence, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, yeah,
Violence.
true.
Yeah,
Very true.
violence
Yeah.
is always the answer. Even though we are emotional, we are sensitive, it's our
Emotional
babies.
beings. Yeah. So, Violet, what will you do?
Okay, so the ideal answer is what LeShunne said is the
Yeah.
discussion, but
Yes.
like Anka said, our first instinct is to grab that child by the neck.
Have the jugular. Lost me.
Yes, that's exactly. and slap the bottom and stuff like that. But yeah, no, one would obviously be upset. I remember, if I can just pivot a bit to my own experience as a child. Years ago, when you spoke Afrikaans, you were discriminated against. And so
Yeah, that's
this child was English speaking, our neighbor, and she kind of just, just nagged at me or she was just, I don't know what happened. But me being the quiet person that I always was, shy, quiet, one afternoon, I just gave it to her. It was out of character, but I grabbed her and
Oh
I
my
just,
word.
I just gave it to her, and I think we
Okay.
were friends after that. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you
That's
also
so
just
ironic,
need to,
wow.
just.
But that's beautiful
Defend
because it
yourself.
shows there was
And there was-
forgiveness also.
There were no
I think.
parents involved. We just,
Okay.
and I think sometimes it's better that the children work it out. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true.
Ek dink ek haal my bekeerde bytjie.
Yeah.
Same time.
So, because that's what I was gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
kyk, ek sal eerlik wees. Ek het my kind gesê as ek kan jou slaan, dan slaan jy terug.
Yeah.
Reason being, you must stand up. I'm not saying, sister, if something's going down, you know, but it's the other way around. The other one always comes. And the smaller one is always the child. You know, the one that does something always comes. And the smaller one is always the child. You know, the one that does something. But I say to them, gauge the situation, but if someone's hitting you, hit them back so that they understand they shouldn't be doing that.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
You know, and then and tell the teacher.
That's
So that was my advice. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Maar in die situation, if this thing progress, kyk, ek en ons en die ouers gaan mekaar sien.
Yes.
And
No, definitely.
we were sitting in class last year, and there was a meeting, and one of the parents, but it's a big man,
Okay.
big Indian man, he was sitting
Okay.
there, and he wanted to know because his child was being bullied.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he told the teacher straight, if you guys don't sort this thing out, I will be seeing the parent, and then we will have it at the child.
And it's so
Yeah.
true.
Because
It's
that
so
happens,
unfortunate, but
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
true.
Because the reality of the matter is, if you look at it, you don't know what's happening in the child's house.
That's true.
A lot of the times the child is acting out what's happening, you know.
Yes.
As die ouer wat die kind leer, you never know. You
Yes,
don't
does
know.
happen.
So
but
true.
you're
Does
going to have
happen.
words with the parent.
Does
so
happen.
out
It
of
definitely
frustration, you
does
can't
happen.
blame a parent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that the good thing to do is to actually sit down and have a conversation,
Yeah.
you know, and if nothing's been done, you know,
Yeah.
then I think it's just human. It's just human.
It is.
You know, to actually act
Yes.
because you
In
become so
defense of
angry
yourself,
that you
absolutely.
feel that nobody's doing anything, and I can see that my child is deteriorating, that
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
child is fearful,
Yeah.
and now I just have to sit back and look at the situation.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think what I will do is I'll have the conversation first, but if nothing's been done by the school or the parent of the bully, I think I will take action.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Honestly
No,
speaking,
It's absolutely fair.
I will take action.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't there a law that was passed? I could be wrong.
Okay.
About I was reading about something about a prospective law that would be passed about if there is bullying taking place, then the parents can be prosecuted. The parents of the child that's doing the bullying can be
Yes.
prosecuted.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not wrong.
There
So you
is
can
there
take
is a
legal-
law that was passed in, I think it's in 1996.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I made some notes.
Okay.
There was a law that was passed in 1996. I just want to go through my notes quickly because I wrote it down about what you were saying,
Yeah.
where essentially if the parent, so it's one of those things where you don't find joy maybe in the school system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the parent itself, they take it upon themselves and they go to the police station and they open a case
Yeah.
That's
against the
right.
next parent
Yeah.
and
Yes.
then in defense of their child.
Yeah.
And then,
And
the law takes over.
May I add that bullying doesn't necessarily mean physical.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. There's different types of bullying.
Yeah, it can
Various
be,
types of bullying.
You know, like
It's verbal,
verbally,
Yeah.
verbal
physical,
abuse,
mental.
mental.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Yeah, we
also
come
falls
into that.
under, there's also, what is the word I'm looking for? There's physical, verbal, cyberbullying.
Yes.
Cyberbullying is the current one.
Yeah.
Right.
My personal opinion is cyberbullying, okay, for lack of a better word, is the most ridiculous thing in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I feel like just switch off your phone.
Mm.
You can't be bullied if you don't read it. You can't be bullied if you don't answer the phone. So, but I understand that
yeah,
in the comment section, people, they have their opinions and whatever. But the other thing is
Don't
also,
read it, yeah.
don't read it and don't focus on it. Because at the end of the day, people also have fake accounts.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
where your own friend, your best friend, your own family member is using this fake account to terrorize you, essentially, on
Yeah.
the
That's
internet.
sad.
That's
And
so
to
true.
embarrass you publicly. And that's the
Wow.
whole point.
Yeah.
If I can't embarrass you publicly, face to face, why am I
Yeah.
doing it behind my cell phone, behind my whatever technological device? I just feel like cyberbullying is one of those things. And it's so unfortunate because we were speaking about peer pressure.
Yeah.
How it also becomes bullying is that the popular kids who have the social media, who have access to all of these things, because there are they will then target those children who aren't
Don't
able
have,
to
yeah.
access those things.
Ah.
And so what then happens is, oh yeah, no, Pastor Violet has all these lovely things, and then she comes after LeShunne because LeShunne is unable to access these things. LeShunne doesn't have Wi-Fi at home. LeShunne's mother doesn't buy for her data and whatever the case may be, so she can't participate in whatever it is. And then Sister Violet decides, no, let's just highlight this problem, you know, and then that becomes, and then it turns into, from peer pressure, then it turns into bullying.
Absolutely.
So
So I
that's
fully agree with that
How it
because
goes up, yeah,
bullying at school is a real thing.
it is.
And to be quite honest, it's a painful thing. We've seen, I think it's about 2 years back, where a child actually, because she was bullied and she was a quiet girl in the West Rand, who actually killed herself
Yes.
because she couldn't handle the pressure, you know,
Yeah.
of going to school every morning. Because remember now, you must now look into the faces and go through the motion again, going to school. Hence, children actually feel that, let me rather not go. I can't not go to school. My parents is going to find out. So this thing is becoming too painful for me to handle. And
Absolutely.
especially if you're not outspoken, especially if you're a quiet girl,
Yeah.
you know, or a quiet boy for that matter. People take advantage. You just get
So
bullies.
true. You become a prey,
You
yes.
Very
you
true.
become a
Quiet.
target. You become a target. So we discussed the different types of bullying. We said there's verbal abuse, you know, there's social bullying, in
Yes.
humiliating people,
Yes.
in spreading
Yes.
rumors
Yes.
about people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so,
also
so
just saying unkind words to each other.
absolutely.
Yo,
And-
hara like it in
and
Western,
don't you
OLD like
find
it in
that
Eastern,
is so
Yes. And it-
alive and well?
Absolutely.
People
Yes.
take it like,
absolutely.
ek gaan het nou net sê.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not thinking there's consequences to
Absolutely.
it. What you are
Absolutely.
doing and breaking down the character of the person
Yeah.
that you
Absolutely.
are actually pushing down.
I
And-
think
Sorry. And maybe just add that the bullying doesn't stay in school.
No.
No, it's
it goes.
bullying is in churches.
in churches.
Bullying is in
Workplaces.
workplaces.
Yes,
bullying
adults.
is at
Oh,
school.
yes.
At
Bullying
home.
is at home.
Very
So
true.
there's different
Kinds,
places
yes,
and different
absolutely.
kinds
I just
of
think
bullying.
I just think it's important to note that it's known as altyd gesê back in the day we said that a kind is die wreedste persoon wat daar is. The reason being there's no
Filters.
filters, no cognitive development
Yeah.
yet in certain areas,
Yeah.
emotional
This is true.
development. So they're gonna say it like it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's our job as a parent.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
coach our
Yeah.
kids. It's
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
job. So Ava, we drove past something and Ava said something and I said, no. You can't say that because that's nice to that person. If you don't like it, then just don't comment on it. It's not your taste. And that's fine because that's your individual. So it's my job as a parent to coach my child, to teach my child, to tell my child that's a person with feelings. How would you like it if you made your hair when you really, really liked it?
Yes.
And now someone says, no, why does your hair look like that?
Yeah.
So it's important for them to be conscious about what words can cause.
Exactly.
Very
Because
important.
that spills over into
Yes.
adulthood.
Yes.
Because you can
Absolutely.
actually leave a complex with another
Yeah.
Absolutely.
person. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because that child can grow up. I'm a testimony to that. That it happened to me when I was little.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That you have such, because my hair was very long but very thick, right? So my sisters had straight hair.
Yes.
I was the only one
Yes.
without straight.
That's my
it-
life right now.
It sits with you.
Yes.
It sits with you somehow.
It does.
You know what
Yes,
I'm
it
saying?
does.
And it brings a complex
Yes.
to you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
You know?
It's so
And if
unfortunate.
someone
Yeah.
tell
It
you,
does, yes.
you're gonna feel that, so they also see it.
Yes.
You know, someone told me in my face that you're so thin, it looks like you
Yes.
have anorexia.
Yep.
So it
Yep.
feels sometimes
Yep.
that
Yeah.
people don't care
Yeah.
Absolutely.
what they say to
Yes.
others.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But the person, the receiver on the other end, you know, it sits here
Yes.
in the
Very, very
subconscious
true.
mind.
Yes.
And
Very, very
remember
true.
now, the subconscious mind is more powerful.
Yeah, it lasts for years.
does.
It lasts.
It does.
Come I tell you,
It does.
because you keep on.
Forget that there's actually positive comments.
Yes.
We forget that there's actually positive comments.
Yes.
We forget about the compliments that we
That's
receive to say how
right.
stunning you actually look in
That's
dresses.
right.
And if you wore more dresses, you
Yes.
don't even realize your shape is so stunning for a dress.
Yeah.
So we should actually try our best to, and my mother always says, well, it's an old saying that charity begins at home.
Yes.
And the children do what we do and not what we say.
Yes.
So we mirror, and I realize it also with my own toddlers, is that they're learning how to be little human beings.
Yes.
So if I don't do the right thing, they're going
Yes.
to do the wrong thing as well. And if
Yes.
I do the right thing, then that's exactly what they're going to
Yeah.
mirror, because
Yes.
their words are they're not very articulate in what
Yeah.
they say,
Yes.
but they will definitely copy my actions. So it doesn't
Yes.
matter if I'm
Oh,
brushing my hair, my daughter will do the same thing.
Yeah.
If I'm in heels, my daughter will come and wear my heels. If I'm doing my makeup,
Wow.
same situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just about teaching our kids
Yes.
to not say, like ma'am is saying, not to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And rather, if you don't have anything nice to say, rather keep it
Keep
to
quiet,
yourself.
yeah, keep
and
quiet.
be mindful of somebody else's thoughts and
Yeah.
emotions and
Yeah,
feelings.
so what we're actually saying is be a good model.
Absolutely.
Because you're modeling all the time and you don't
Absolutely.
know who's watching you, you don't know who's following you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So as I want to reiterate what LeShunne's saying is actually watch your words,
Yes.
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
because your words can cause a lot of damage. What does the
Yes.
Bible say?
So
That
true.
the tongue is the smallest
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Most
of the
powerful
body,
Yeah.
but the
weapon.
most,
it's the
but
most,
it,
yeah.
it can set a whole field alight.
Absolutely.
So that is actually what we actually have to speak about.
Yeah.
And if your
Absolutely.
child is a bully, because you know what, sometimes you find children who, as Anka said, children in the house, in the home, there's no real or proper modeling. There's no
Yeah.
proper parenting.
Yeah.
Or the child is abused at home. So the child actually vents that anger,
Anger, yes,
That's
towards
true.
others, yes.
That's
you
true.
know, towards others.
That's very true.
Because hurting people hurts people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that is actually what is happening to our
Absolutely.
children,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
And we are all responsible, even if it's not your biological child.
Yes.
And I want to make an appeal to parents who will watch this and who is watching. Even a child, wherever, your neighbor's child is your child. Because it takes a village, right,
does.
to raise a child.
Yeah.
So we are the village. We are the
Absolutely.
moms of,
Yeah.
and especially the mothers of today.
Absolutely.
You know, we had respect in those years.
Yeah.
There was respect. We got up in the buses and we gave an elderly person a
seat.
a seat. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
Today, respect is out of the window.
Very
Yeah.
true.
There's no more respect.
Very
People,
true.
children speaks to you like
Yes.
you the child.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
And I think if we can break that cycle,
A negative comment. But when they do, because in their nature, they're learning. They're growing, like you said, learning to be humans.
Humans, literally.
They're learning to, they need to become tomorrow's functional adults.
Absolutely.
It's our responsibility to instill it into our children.
Absolutely.
This is not very nice when you say it like this, or when you say that. Timing. I have to teach my children every time, baby, timing. You can't say this now.
Yeah.
It's okay to say certain things when you're with mommy or when you're feeling a
And in
certain
front
way.
of others.
And in
Yeah.
front of others,
Others.
it's true.
There's just certain things you can't say.
Yeah.
So these are things that we have to intentionally do and instill, and not just expect it from our kids.
Absolutely.
I was
so.
just triggered now when Joan mentioned, children having anger. It just reminded me that as a divorced parent years ago, as a single parent, the consequences that the divorce has on the children is that they also suffer with their own emotional.
Yes.
They have their own emotional baggage, like
Baggage, true.
anger, frustration,
True.
and so that could also be a reason why kids act out, becomes the
Absolutely.
bullies and becomes
Yep.
the
Absolutely.
troublesome children.
So
Absolutely.
how do you stop bullying before it starts?
Prevention is better than cure, is that not
Yes.
the saying?
Yeah.
That's true.
So the best way I feel to stop bullying is to, like Pastor Violet was saying, like teach your children, and Pastor Anka, teach your children what the right thing is to say. Teach your children how to behave in public. My mother always says, don't forget when you leave this house, you are a representation of me.
Absolutely.
Before
so.
anything.
So
You
true.
are a representation of me. And when I was growing up, if I did anything wrong, then that auntie, whoever it is that saw me, that uncle, is going to tell my mother immediately, as ek by die huis kom, as aan.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. And unfortunately, the Bible is I still follow the Bible very clearly, that you spare the rod, you spoil the child.
Yes.
Amen
It's
to
so
that.
very
Yes.
unfortunate.
Yes.
And this is why we have onbeskowe kinders in the
Yeah.
classroom.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because the parents
so.
are quick to run because the teacher said, instead of asking, how was your day? What did you
Yes,
learn?
yes.
What did the teacher do is the first
Yes,
question.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
And so we find ourselves where parents then end up bullying the teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather,
That's
and the
true.
child, the learners also end up bullying the teacher in the
Yes.
same way.
Yeah.
It's a very unfortunate
Yeah,
thing.
look at the incidents that happened.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
there's a lot of examples.
Yes.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
that went viral.
Yes.
A child who hit
Yes.
the
Who's hit
teacher.
the
Yes.
teachers.
Yes.
A child who threw the teacher.
Yes.
A child who
Yes.
stabbed the teacher.
Yes.
So it is things like
They
that
even
that
rob
we
the
actually
teachers. They scratch in your
steal.
school, in
No.
your handbag.
Steal.
I'm being serious.
Yeah.
No.
They
Now-
scratch in your handbag if you have money for whatever. Maybe you were going to pay the auntie that day when you
Unreal.
get home, and nou is jou hele geld gone. Na hele 2000, finish, it's gone. Out of your bag.
Wow.
They steal your cell phone as well. Last year we had an incident where a child stole a teacher's cell phone from her table. And unfortunately, we can't always make announcements on the intercom because it disrupts learning time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is we have WhatsApp groups where we can communicate with each other throughout the day to say, okay, you going to this class if that teacher is not there, whatever the case may be. And unfortunately, that teacher, like myself, had a phone on a table, and the child took the phone from the table. And luckily, the principal said, "The hell with the devil, and stop now alles." Dead stop to the entire school.
Yeah, but
And
I
we
think
were
that's the right
searching.
thing.
Unfortunately, we
Yes.
had to.
That's the
We
right
had
thing
to
to
involve
do.
the police as
Yes.
well
Yes.
to do
Wow.
a search, also not just to protect the children, but also to protect the educators, because this can go either way now.
Absolutely
Yes.
so.
Parents
Yes.
can find offense,
Yeah.
and then next thing we know, there's cases against the whole school, the yellow teachers, but it was
Wow.
only one teacher that was the victim.
But not just
She,
that.
luckily, eventually her phone came out, and
Yeah.
then the child was then punished.
But it's so important to protect the culture of the school.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't address it, now
Yes.
you have a problem
Yes.
where every now and then. a
Because it's
teacher-
going to
Yes.
happen
Yes,
again.
yes, they realize
That's
they're getting away
right.
with everything.
That's
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
But it's
Absolutely.
astonishing for me. Back in the day when we were in school, as jy iets oorgekom het,
Ja.
nee, en die juffrou het jou gedisciplineer of die onderwyser. Jy het stil gebly.
Yes.
Ja.
Van kom jy by die huis en jy gaan
kry
klaar.
jy weer 'n pak slag.
Jy
It's on.
jy kry weer pak
Ja.
slag.
Does
Ek het nou die dag met my ma mee gebel en gesê my graad 5 onderwyser meneer van Rooi. Hy het altyd so 'n lat gehad.
Ja.
Ons het geweet is vleislat. En bewaar jou siel as jy nou praat of iets aanvang.
Ja.
Jy sal
Yep.
met vleislat in verbinding tree.
There we go.
You're going to have a confrontation with
Yeah. To discipline you.
Absolutely.
Discipline you
Absolutely.
and to speak to your parents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then when you come
Absolutely.
home, you get another hiding.
Absolutely.
So that to me is like don't spare the rod.
No.
Yeah.
You know, what is the policies then
Yeah.
So
of the school?
the schools mostly they do have bullying policies. They have safety policies as well that
Yeah.
protects both the learner and the teacher. But the number one thing that we focus on is the school code of conduct. So in most
Right.
cases, schools have the school code of conduct for the learners as well as for the educators.
So does the children get
Yes, it's in usually
the
it's
conduct?
schools with
Transparent,
homework
yes.
diaries.
Yeah.
Schools with homework diaries usually have it, unless if it's a
Okay.
paperless school. Like most of the
Okay.
private schools are paperless, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah.
email the parent the
That's
school
right,
code of
yes.
conduct, and then you have to sign it.
Yes.
You have to sign it and date it,
Yes.
and then also state where you signed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So the setting of the location of which you signed the code of conduct. So the code of conduct essentially stipulates anything from the wrong hairstyle, the wrong uniform,
Yeah.
behavioral
Yeah.
as well.
Right.
Then the diary also in most cases has like a grid where you can either give demerits or you can give
Yeah.
demerits
Okay,
for
yes.
bad behavior, merits
Yes.
for good behavior. So there's balance.
Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate that there's balance because
Not bullying
we're
your
not
child.
exactly because the child will feel bullied if it's just demerits only
That's
that come
correct,
across.
yes.
But at least if you do something good and you do well,
Yeah.
in the same way your demerit can then be removed and replaced with a
Yes.
merit.
Wonderful.
Because now you've done well. So it kind of
Yeah.
like rehabilitates the child, if that makes
Right,
sense.
right.
So,
So
that
if
helps.
the policy, if the conduct, the school's
code of conduct.
code of conduct
Yeah.
Yeah.
says, how can I put this question? I don't want to
Yeah.
be, because I don't want to put people on the spot. But
Yeah.
if, for instance, the school's conduct is that we're going to deal this way or that way with someone
Okay.
who's bullying or who is the aggressor,
Okay.
what do you guys do
Okay.
when a child keeps on? You gave one warning,
Okay.
you gave the second warning.
Yes.
What do you do?
So essentially, the way that we, I guess, rehabilitate the child who is the aggressor. So what we then do is we'll talk to the child, give the child a demerit, the first offense. The second offense, again, a demerit, right, for behavior, poor behavior. And then by the third offense, we're calling in both parents now because now we've tried everything on our side. And also there's a paper trail.
Okay.
It also shows the parent that, oh no, this is what we've done. We've
Yes.
tried our best not to involve because the hours is very werk. And I
That's
know,
right,
I don't want to
yes.
be phoned at work for Alora didn't sit still. Alora
Yeah.
is fighting with someone. Alora,
Yes,
sort the child
yes,
out.
yes.
You know, and that's for public school. Now imagine private school where the school fees is so lekker juicy, nah?
Yeah.
You don't want to be phoned. You,
Yes.
a parent that's paying that heavy school fees, you don't want to be
If
phoned.
I was one of those parents, my darling,
Just do your job.
Just do your job. That's what I pay you for.
they used to phone me every time.
Yes.
I used to get
Ala
so
pla.
irritated.
To say the lekker of
Say,
everyone.
yell, just for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yes.
homework, behavior,
Homework, that
doesn't
is-
sit still.
that is-
making
that wasn't
sounds
finished.
and-
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like,
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
phone me every day, man. Don't
Yes.
phone me.
Yes. Tell
That's
me,
my eight.
LeShunne, so when does the teacher realize that there's something like not out, how can I say?
Out of control.
Yeah, when does the child need to
The child is autistic because
Yeah.
I know some children on the spectrum, they have screaming fits. You
Yeah.
know, I know my daughter is one of them. She always, if she's feeling overwhelmed, she's feeling overstimulated, then the best thing to do with a child like that is to kind of just put them in a space of isolation where it's nice and quiet and they can kind of gather their thoughts and calm down and
Yeah.
relax. But where the SBST comes in most cases, not always, but in most cases, is when the child, the aggressor, has then bullied more than one child. And
Oh, I see.
firstly, secondly, maybe the aggressor has been physically violent towards more than one child.
Yeah.
Then the SBST has to unfortunately come in, and then the child has to then be tested for whatever aggressive behavioral
Yes.
issues and stuff like
So
that.
you're also in that. Do you check what is going on at home?
Yes, we have to. We
Yeah.
then have to contact an occupational therapist. We then have to get in a school psychologist. But now the nice part is what I know the government is now doing and what they've implemented a couple of years back was they now have school educational psychologists on the premises
Oh, that's
of
nice.
the school counselors. Yes, I know a lot of the schools have that. And that's a beautiful thing because now that person is there. So now all you have to do is just kind of send the child to this person for a specific amount of sessions, whatever. There's a schedule that's worked out for the child, given to the teachers. If the child is in grade 1, 2, or 3, then the child stays obviously in that teacher's class the entire day. But if they're in grade 4 up to matric, then all the teachers that are in charge of that child's subjects, however many subjects the child is doing, they all need to be aware of this child's schedule, that they're going to see the counselor on this particular day or whatever the case may be, with the parents' consent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we can't do anything without the parents' consent. And
Okay.
then it's always fun when the parent is in denial about the child's behavior, because now I'm just like,
My
"But
kid's not nooit
auntie,
doen nie."
you know, but the child is not like this at home, so I don't know what you... No, your
Yeah.
kids are not the same at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because your children don't have their friends with them at home.
Yeah,
They don't have
that's
anybody
true,
that they
yeah.
can impress
Yes,
at
that's
home.
correct,
Because they know that
yes.
this is the line my ma
That's
gaan only
right.
my nonsense vat nie, and I have to just behave in a straight line or nothing. So when they
Yeah.
get home, when they get to school, sorry, they like a bird that's been released from a cage,
Yes.
essentially. And now they act, in your opinion as a parent, out of character.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the normal behavior of this person.
All
Yeah.
you've seen.
It's all I know.
So LeShunne, what do you do when a teacher bullies a child?
Ooh, that's a very tough one, and it's so very unfortunate that
Because that
this does
happens.
happen a lot.
It happens.
It does happen a lot.
I mean, there's an incident last year where the child that was raped by a teacher,
Yes.
right? The child
was a
was
high school.
sent, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now you see if things like that happen
Yeah.
to my
yeah.
child
Yeah. Yeah.
or to my grandchild.
It's not gonna go right.
Oh,
It's
no,
not
no,
gonna
no,
go.
no,
It,
no.
it
No,
does.
no, it's
it-
gonna go south.
It
I
becomes,
must be honest
of
with
course,
you.
No, absolutely.
of course, it's gonna
Yeah.
go south. And you as a parent, your first thought is like, I need teacher to hurt ma. Same
Yes,
time.
yes.
That's your immediate response.
No,
Yes.
definitely.
But when a teacher is bullying a child, the only thing that can take place is we have how can I say, a psychologist
Yeah.
purely just for educators, right? And
Okay.
it's then funded by the government, and it's a free of charge service.
Yeah.
I know my deputy principal was talking about this yesterday morning in our meeting, and essentially it's confidential. Because look, we adults at the end of the day, and
Yeah.
sometimes we bring our rubbish with us to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not our fault. It's just
Right.
an emotional thing. You're overwhelmed. You also but just a human being at the same time.
Absolutely
Even though
so.
your children in class, they idolize you, like, oh my God,
Yes.
Mrs. Motaung is this
Yes,
person.
yes,
She
yes,
looks
yes.
this way. She, you know, but then she's going through her own issues
Yes,
at
so
home that
true.
are personal, that are really intense. And then maybe also what ends up happening is your children, in most cases, would give you so much love. And there's 160 of them that time in the grade.
Yeah.
And then they want to give you all this love and all this, but it only adds to the
Pressure.
the pressure of you feeling overwhelmed. And so the only thing that the principal or the deputy principal, the SMT, can do, even the SBST also then comes in for
Yeah.
the educator to kind of just assist them and say, okay, what's happening? Let's
Yeah.
talk about this. How can we assist you? How can we guide you? And they have more than one session, and then they refer you to the necessary psychologists that are under the government for your district, whatever the case may be. And then you have to go and you have to have those sessions. But now, what ends up happening is your superiors have to then track how many sessions you've had. So you can get 6 to 8 free sessions. Thereafter, it's on your account. But they have to track it. They can't, the psychologist can't share with
Yeah.
your,
The topic,
absolutely.
the
And there's
bullying.
ongoing training
Oh, there
that takes
is
place
ongoing. Okay.
from your unions like NEPTOSA, SATU,
Yeah.
as well as SACE,
Yeah.
which is our South African Teachers
Council.
Council, sorry,
Yeah.
of Education. So they also have a service like that,
Yeah.
where you are able to then go and be trained, not just for your own benefit,
Yeah.
but also to kind of help the child,
Yes.
you know,
Absolutely.
so that in the classroom, there's, because you must remember children come from different households and they come with
Yes.
their own
Yes.
goodies class too, and
Yeah.
you know, and they come and they tell you the tabas that's happening inside of the house, and then you hear stories about my father was fetched by the police last night, and it's a whole thing.
Wow.
Other children are suffering because maybe the grandmother had a heart attack and she kind of just dropped in front of the
Yes.
child, and then the
Yes.
child must come to school with all of this
Yes.
emotions,
Wow.
you know, because
Yes.
last night she couldn't do her homework because she had to sit in the hospital the whole night,
Wow.
worried about her granny, unable to focus when she gets to school the next
Right.
day. But there is nothing that she can do. She
Yeah.
is but just a child, so she has to go to school.
Parents had a fight.
And you understand,
Sure.
parents had a fight in front of them. Maybe the parent broke
Mm-hmm.
up. And just to go back and touch on when the parents separate, the child also grieves.
Yeah.
That's where the
Yes.
emotional baggage comes
Yeah.
from. Because you must remember, the child is only ever known my parents
Yeah.
together in the
Yes.
same household.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
unfortunately, as an educator, I have to teach the children in that direction, that
Yeah.
parents are supposed to be together.
Yeah.
You are supposed to
Yes.
be with your biological mom and your
That's right.
biological
Yeah.
father. It's in my curriculum. I
That's
have to share
right.
this
Yeah.
information with the child and kind of teach. And then being a mom myself, I find myself in the same situation with the same perspective. But at the end of the day, it's just about, I guess, loving the child. You have to love being a teacher because
Yeah.
it's a
Yes.
calling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
Yes.
a calling.
It's
You're either
so
going to answer
true.
the
I
call or you're
fully
going to hang up.
agree.
Or you
I
decline.
agree.
True.
Yeah.
It's one of
Oh,
those
I want to
things.
say a big
I'm so
amen
happy
to that.
yes, that you still have that view because
Yes.
that's how we when I was an
Absolutely.
educator, we were told it's a calling.
It is
Yeah.
a
Yes.
calling.
Yeah, it's not
It's
a
a
job.
calling,
No,
yeah.
it's
And-
a calling.
It makes a difference.
You see
It
it in your
does, yeah.
kids. You see it in your kids. You see how the teacher is towards your children.
Yeah.
From what we've taught our children is that, especially how we grew up, ons was geleer, jy moet luister,
Yeah.
and that's it, you know.
Yeah.
So we try to teach our kids in the sense that you can voice, if you don't agree with something or you feel a certain way, you can voice it, but respectfully.
Absolutely.
So that it doesn't come back as you being hoe sal ek sê,
Rude.
rude
Yeah.
and disrespectful,
Yeah.
or what, but you voice. And if teacher isn't listening, then we'll step in.
Yes.
But we have to teach our children a voice
There we go.
because there's certain demographics and they praat hulle se mind.
There we
En nou
go.
moet my kind, I remember my child was in a school. Teacher called me in, told me my child's leadership ability is too strong. We need to dumb it down. I said, excuse me, because what do you say? Is it the other kids can say what they need to say? Because in my mind, as an educator, you need to harness
Absolutely.
my child's ability. So it took a week, and I pulled out my child out of the school and put her somewhere else where her leadership capabilities could be harnessed.
Absolutely.
but-
and nurtured.
And nurture it. But there's always that balance, because at the same time you want your child to maintain the respect for their
Absolutely.
educators,
Very
because
important.
at the end of the day you're going to sit with my child the whole year. My child needs to interact with you the whole year.
Yep.
But at the same time my child must also feel loved.
Absolutely.
My child must,
Very important.
Yeah.
must
Yes.
want to
Because
be
once
Very
once a
important.
child feels that atmosphere,
Yes.
They
that's-
withdraw.
They withdraw and they
Yes.
don't do well in that
Yes.
subject.
Absolutely.
Something very important,
Absolutely.
and the word we're looking for there is to be assertive.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Teaching the child to be assertive,
Yes.
and I think if one doesn't get that right into your adulthood,
Yes.
you will
Yes.
not know how to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is where abuse steps in.
Yes.
Because you don't have a voice. You don't know how
to express
you don't know
yourself.
how to express yourself. To,
And it's
to ask for
important.
what
Yeah.
you want.
I want to
important.
ask
Be
us
assertive.
another question. How do you identify bullying?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So bullying is not all I've done with my 160 grade 7s that I do on an annual basis is I always ask them, just stand up and tell me something about yourself. Because what you tell me about yourself is how you want me to perceive you.
That's right.
You're not going to tell me something negative about
That's
yourself.
yeah.
You're always going to highlight yourself to be the best at something.
Right.
And then in most cases, you find the child that will say, no, I don't actually want to say anything. I'm like, yay. That's how I identify it.
Okay.
Where I can then see, okay, why not? And then what I'll do is I'll then call you after class one side and say, okay, but now, Anka, what's going on? Why don't you want to share with us?
yeah.
What's the reason?
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a class outside, but we need to have this now.
Yeah.
Because this is the moment. Because if I
Right.
let you go, the moment is past and
It
we'll
gets
leave
worse.
Yeah.
so let's discuss together and let's see. And then also you hear the opinions of the other children. And once you've built a rapport with the kids, you've built a nice relationship with the
Absolutely.
kids.
Yeah.
And then you hear from the other kids how this one behaves, or what this one does, and how that one is. And what.
Yeah.
Because in my class, you one way, but in that other teacher's class, you another way. So in my class, I always say, if a teacher can build a safe space for the child, it's very
And
important.
I like
where
what
they
you
can
said.
speak
that.
freely.
There
I
must
love
be that
that.
rapport
Yes.
because
Yes.
it's
Absolutely.
that's vital.
It's
Yeah.
very important.
vital.
You have to create a safe space.
Yeah.
Because if the child is not able to share with you, then you're not going to be able to identify anything at all. Aside from bullying, there's
Yeah.
also abuse that takes place
Yeah.
at home.
That's right.
You know, there's also depression
That's
in children.
right.
There's also
Yes.
anxiety in children,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And the rise in anxiety right now is unbelievable, especially in adolescents, teenagers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anywhere from the age of let's say 9 when they start puberty in girls,
Yes.
and maybe 11, 12 in boys.
Yeah.
Upward towards 19, 21.
Yeah.
They all are going through some type of anxiety, some
That's
type
so
of
true.
overwhelming
And now
thing.
more than ever, eh?
But that's because of social media.
I was gonna
Our
say
kids
the
are
same
on-
thing.
on
It's the
their
social
devices
media.
all
Yeah.
of the time.
But do you allow it at school?
No, not at my school. But
That's
I know there's
wonderful.
some private schools that have tablets.
Oh, yeah.
They work on laptops.
Oh,
They're
yes.
completely paperless.
Yes, yes.
There are
Yeah.
some schools
Yes,
that are like
yes.
that, but at my school, no, you're not allowed to have a cell phone.
Yeah.
But I do
think
have
that's the
parents.
right way.
Yeah.
But now the cell phone is a bit of a touchy subject because Uber is also on the phone. Sometimes the child needs to take the Uber if
That's
they're in
true.
grade 7.
Yeah, but have it, but don't use it at school.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the hard part.
Yeah.
So now what I usually say in my introductory meetings with my parents at the beginning of the year in January is that if your child has a phone at school, let that child, even if the child is not in my class, I teach 160, so all 160 are mine. So if that child has their cell phone at school, let them bring it to me. Because if another
Okay.
teacher sees
Okay.
that, automatically you think the child
Okay.
is now playing with the phone or whatever. I'm going to converse with the child will get it in
Wonderful.
3 months time at the end of the
Yes.
term or the end
Yes.
of the year.
Yeah.
So let the child bring it to me. I will keep it and they will get it after school.
Wonderful.
Because I feel like it's the only way. Because there are those instances where you just, for the life of you can't help, but the child must take this phone to school so that you can find the child so you can see what's
And
happening.
also, it's important, isn't it? Because we had an incident with my granddaughter, right? Where she didn't have a phone then, right?
Okay.
And she have a hearing a problem.
Okay.
So someone called her, a friend in her class called her and said, the taxi man is calling. Her
Okay.
father said
Oh,
she
my
must
word.
come with them.
Okay.
And thank God she's a bit voogies.
There we go.
And she said, no, her father didn't tell her that she must go with them. Her mother's fetching her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now, if she had a phone
It would have been better.
to phone her parents,
Absolutely.
you get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because you
Absolutely.
do find situations. See, someone
Yes, that
taking
you need to verify.
Absolutely.
But
advantage.
isn't there a
Absolutely.
policy around the cell phone now?
The school code
school.
of the school code of conduct just
You can't
mainly
have one.
says
Dismisses it,
no
yeah.
cell phones,
But
no
so-
devices of any kind.
Okay.
So for,
Because otherwise they're distracted.
Yeah.
so for me as a
It's a
like,
tricky one.
for us, we trying to navigate that with
Yeah.
with our teen. You know, find
Yeah.
my child's phone,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So for us, we're trying to navigate that. How do we navigate that now? We're trying to, because the school says no school, so we have to respect. Because at the end of the day, school rules are there for a reason.
Exactly.
It's not just there for
Yeah, and
for,
it's
for now.
discipline
fun.
too.
It's discipline
You
because
know.
Safety,
It's like, no,
quite
but
frankly.
besides safety, I view it as my children need to learn to follow some sort of rules because they need to become functional adults because they're going to come into the workspace where there's a certain code of conduct.
Absolutely.
So it creates functional adults one day.
Absolutely.
So for me, there's certain things that I feel like, okay, that is no bikini no extra. We can understand that. But the general scope of rules is important.
Absolutely.
So now I'm coming
Yeah.
and I don't want, if someone steals my child's phone, wat gaan ek sê? Ek kan nie die
Yeah.
school gaan bly nie. It's in the code of conduct.
They
You're not
shouldn't
supposed
have
to
it.
have
Yes.
There we
You
go.
know what I'm saying?
There we
so
go.
it's a catch-22 for both.
It is.
You know, for
it
both,
is.
but
Yeah.
but learning there's other ways of doing it. I think so, but I think it's important that there
But
is
I like
a
the way
space.
that LeShunne
Yes.
said,
There's a
you
space
know,
that you handle it.
this
Yes.
is, she's creating that, which I love.
Yes.
Because the children will then draw to you.
Absolutely.
You know, they feel the love, they feel the
Absolutely.
interest
Yes.
that you have
Absolutely.
for them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's a very good thing. Okay, come leave your phone here, and
Yes.
at the end of the day, I'll give the phone back
That's
to you.
I saw not
Absolutely.
long ago on social media, it is a private school. I can't remember what it is, but they had these little like orange pouches that they gave out to the kids. And then when they come in the morning, their phone's going there, it goes into a lock, like a magnet lock.
That's cute.
And then they
Oh,
unlock
that's
it.
nice.
So it stays in the child's possession,
That's so
Yeah.
cute.
but they can't access it at that very moment.
Love it.
Yes.
You know, stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
which I think if there's ways to
That's a
meet each
better
other
system.
Yes.
halfway. Do you get
It's
what
a
I'm saying?
risk, but it's a better system.
Yeah.
Because now, unfortunately, schools are also being broken into.
Yes.
Yes.
So luckily they don't do it during school hours, but they'll do it after school hours. So God forbid your child forgot to go and collect their phone that
Yes.
afternoon,
Yeah.
and then that evening No,
And
but
now you
anyway.
are responsible for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
The reason why I asked,
That's the
like I said,
thing.
I worked in e-learning, and
Yes.
so we actually promoted the use of the cell phone
Phone.
at schools,
Yes.
and the schools to have a policy for that. But schools rejected it. The principals would just outrightly
It's a-
rejected it
Right,
because of the
guys,
risk.
It's a risk. It's a huge risk.
We're
We're at
almost
the
at the end of our
Yes.
show,
Yeah.
so I honestly just want to ask the signs that parents can actually see when the child is being bullied at school.
Yeah.
So there are different signs that you can actually notice.
Yes.
Yes.
And when you notice these things, it's important to act.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the children has been told by the bully not to
quiet.
talk.
Mm.
You know, it's just like
Abuse.
Yeah.
abuse.
It's the same thing.
Same.
Yeah.
It's just a nicer
know,
way of
yes,
saying abuse, in my opinion.
Yes, yes. So it's important then to understand what to look out for
Absolutely.
in a child.
Absolutely.
And I think there's maybe mood changes
Yes.
that you can
yes.
check
Yes.
to see
Isolation.
isolation. The
Yes.
child just wants to
Because
be
isolation
in the room.
leads into depression
Yes,
as well.
that's
Yeah.
right.
But also that's a tricky one because
Anxiety.
boys, when they go through puberty, they normally isolate themselves in their
Yeah.
bedrooms. Sometimes it's not even depression or anxiety. They
Yeah,
just
but
going
don't you
through
think that
puberty.
is why communication is key?
Absolutely,
You
without a
gotta know
doubt.
your child.
Yes.
Absolutely, without
Yeah.
a doubt. Absolutely, without a doubt. What my mother did when I was a child in high school,
Yeah.
she realized, yeah, man, it's kind of American. I don't know what's going on with her. And she had this little chair next to her bed. And every Sunday, without fail, we must sit on that chair. When we get done, myself and my sister, we must sit there on that chair after church, after lunch. As I come by school and then she will listen to you. But if the kitchen is still dirty, she doesn't have time for you. The 160
Yeah.
learners. It's not
Wow.
the easiest task, but I think
Sure, I
I've
can
gotten to a
imagine.
point where I can say at least 80 out of 160. I know them by name, surname. I know the dates of birth. I know what's going on in their
Wow.
households. I know what's happening.
That's awesome.
Because isolation is not always fun. And the child that never participates inside of the classroom is the one that I pick on the most. Because I'm trying to understand, but why? You know, what's happening? You know?
Yes, yes.
Because in most cases also when a child is so isolated and so quiet, there's usually abuse taking place at home. And in most cases it's not violent or physical.
Yeah.
It's mental. The
Mental,
child's
yeah.
mental health is in a terrible
Emotional,
space.
mm.
And so that and emotional and it's verbal things that are being said and the child is being spoken down to.
And it leads to low self-esteem.
And then it leads to low self-esteem. And the
Yeah,
child's
so-
self-image is just
Yes.
not in a good place.
So if there's any parent watching us at the moment or will watch the show afterwards, there are signs that you can check, and that is sudden fear of going to school
Yes.
or to work. You know,
Yes.
the child is fearful.
Yes.
The child starts hating school.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then also changes in mood. As I said, the
Yes.
child becomes anxious, the child withdraws,
Yes.
the child is angry for no reason, you know, and don't know how to actually vent.
There we go.
So it's things like that you have to. These are signs. Maybe unexplained injuries. You gotta check.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
what your child is
Yes.
actually going through. Is there something when the child baths just pop
Yes.
in?
Yes.
You
Sometimes
know,
too much
into the
privacy is not
bathroom.
good.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
good. It's not good at all. Loss of belongings.
Oh,
If the child
yes.
takes lunch but comes home and the child is hungry,
Yes.
you know, you know that, listen, I am making lunch for someone else.
Or spending
right?
even.
Or
Yeah.
spending for that, for and then sleep problems. The
Yes,
child don't want to
insomnia.
sleep, you know.
Yeah.
And then also drop in performance. And that is one thing that you can check as a parent when the child's performance drop at school. And you know this was a top child. You know,
Absolutely.
the child performed, used to perform.
Sometimes
right?
the child never actually performed.
Yeah.
And that in itself is already a sign.
It's-
Why
it's
is
why
the child
not,
not
performing?
performing at all?
Yes.
You've never seen an A on the child's
Yes.
report. What's happening?
Okay, and then there are also effects of bullying, and I'm just wrapping up, right?
Yeah.
The effects are low self-esteem, anxiety and depression, as LeShunne said,
Yes.
isolation, as she rightfully said, academic or work struggles, in severe cases, self-harm thoughts.
Yes.
The child becomes suicidal. The
So they
child
start cutting.
cutting
Yeah.
themselves. You
Yes.
know, it's very important to
Yeah.
check this.
Absolutely.
I think it's not the work of the educator
Alone.
alone.
Mm.
I think
Parents
it's
and educators should work
parents
together.
Yeah.
must
Absolutely.
understand that the educator is not the child's parent.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So don't leave your responsibility
Yes,
over to the
true.
educator.
Absolutely.
That is very important. What can be done? Listen without judgment.
Also
Listen to your child. Have an ear. That is why I still believe in sitting around the table, because that's what I
Yes.
did with my kids.
Yes.
That's where you see
What's
something
happening.
is wrong.
Absolutely.
Document incidents, right?
Yes.
Report to authorities, right? Schools, workplaces, report to management, report to the principal, report to the teacher. Build support systems, right? That's important. If you have a
Absolutely.
support system, at
Absolutely.
least you can support one another. The
Absolutely.
children can support one another.
Absolutely.
Teach children confidence and boundaries.
Yes.
Absolutely. Ooh, boundaries.
Boundaries
is
is
a
the
big
big
one.
one.
Boundaries,
Boundaries
beloved.
is a big
Very
one.
Boundaries.
important.
Boundaries is
Children
definitely a big
needs
one.
to be taught
Boundaries.
boundaries.
Oh, yes.
There are certain boundaries that you cannot
Yes.
Yeah.
actually go
Yeah,
over. You
absolutely.
can't.
Yeah.
When you play a soccer match or a hockey match, right? There's boundaries.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And when that ball goes out of the boundary, it's
There we
an
go.
out ball.
There we go.
That is in life too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You have to have boundaries.
yeah,
That is
true.
very, very, very important. And that is most of the things that we actually can mention to you. I'm going to ask for last comments, beloveds, because
We're way over time.
we're done.
And we didn't get to the comments today.
Oh, yeah, let's quickly go to the comments and then we can say tata.
Okay, so from Pastor Eileen, we said, good morning, beautiful pastors. Good morning, beautiful pastors from Auntie Heather. Then Yonita says, good morning, beautiful ladies. And then Marvin Matthew says, I was unfortunately bullied most of my school days. I wasn't sure how to deal with it at the time. Later in life, I realized I was ill-equipped physically, emotionally, and intellectually to understand it. Okay, there was losing sound there somewhere. And then Lady S is in the comments, says, good morning, all beautiful ladies on the show, Bear and Becoming. Great topic, much needed conversation. I do agree, don't entertain the cyberbullying messages, cause it is in your control. Delete, cancel, block, destroy.
Absolutely.
I suggest parents should have intentional conversations with the kids to pick up if they are being bullied.
Yes.
And then early intervention does not start at the school office. It starts at the dinner table, in the car, on the couch, in the
Absolutely so.
small sacred spaces of daily life. And then schools should not deny bullying. They should face it head on and deal with it. They must stop trying to protect the school and not the child.
Oh, amen to
Yeah.
that. Because a lot of schools wants to protect the
Yes.
school's
Yeah.
name.
Very true.
And then
And protect the teacher as well.
and then it goes through
Yeah,
it.
ne?
Then Althea Naming is in the comment. She says children that bully are being bullied. When
Absolutely.
dealing with a bully, address the root cause, not the symptoms. Teachers can also bully children. And what process do you follow when a child is isolated from the class, nitpicked on, and spoken down to, and the children in the class picked it up at the teachers? I think you already alluded to that.
Yeah.
And then Samantha Baxter says, my son just started high school and he is 12. He is not, I think maybe she wanted to say grade 12. He's not allowed to have a cell phone at this stage due to fear of what our kids will be exposed to. But on the other hand, we do not want him to feel embarrassed. I think that's the end of that that sentence. He never had a phone, but I also do not want him to feel out. So I am still praying about it. Althea says, they fake sickness to stay home. I think that alludes to when.
Yeah, that's true.
They do.
Let's
We
know
all have
those
done
sick-
it,
Yeah.
man. We all tried.
Yeah, we all tried it. And then Auntie Heather says, I asked my grandchildren, how was your day? Do you enjoy school? Who's your friends? To my amazement, the child will come out with something very innocently, and you can pick it up in the moment. And then children won't speak immediately. I thank God for the grace to draw it out of them, having a lekker conversation. All of a sudden, they will come out with whatever they're going through.
Very true.
And I ask for names.
Very
Then I give them assurance. Ma's praying for the children, involvement, even for the teacher,
Yeah.
mothers, I think. And then this type errors. I'm not sure what Auntie Heather was alluding to there in the end. And then for our Facebook, my Facebook always tends to just disappear there for a half a second, but I will have it back in.
While Anka's getting the Facebook, I just want to tell parents to guard their children, right? Guard their hearts, man. Because Proverbs, Solomon says in Proverbs, above all else, guard your heart. For everything you do flows from it. So guard the hearts of your children.
And also, can I just add, sometimes parents who, it's not always parents with small children, parents with adult children as well. You also need to have those serious conversations with them, because unfortunately, just to read, just the long-term effects in adults would be their stress levels will go up, their mental, physical,
So
and
true.
professional harm, anxiety,
Yes.
depression, increased risk of suicide. Sometimes they have chronic pain, they have issues with their health as well. I mean, I can mention so many people that I know my age in the early 30s that have had heart attacks and passed on
Oh,
because
wow.
of stress, you know. Then also there's unfortunately addiction. And it's not always the usual thing that you
Yes,
would think.
true.
They will be addicted to things like food. They'll be addicted to things like caffeine.
Yeah.
This person is not eating properly,
That's
but the
right.
coffee is
That's
sky
right.
high. And then also
Addicted to
insomnia.
tablets, yeah.
Yeah, and then poor relations. You know, you'll find also your child is not attending Christmas lunches anymore,
Yes.
Sunday lunch where they used to be there every
Yes,
Sunday.
wow.
They're not
yes.
there anymore. They're withdrawing from you because they're going
Yes.
through a lot, but they don't want to
Yes.
add because they know
Yeah.
your plate is full.
Yeah.
You know, and we both adults in this situation. So now,
Absolutely
how do you
so.
handle your adult child?
Yes.
That's also very
That's,
important.
that's
You
very
mentioned
important.
something very important,
Yeah,
and
that
this will
is a
be my
fact.
last. Also spoke to someone who's been bullied, and felt the effects into their 20s and early 30s, they said. And their redemption was realizing, and I want to read what this person said, is, I think I realized that my bullies actually weren't doing any better than me. In fact, that they had a more miserable lives.
Absolutely.
I realized that I had nothing to feel inadequate about, and that was a redemption.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
Just to wrap up with the last comments, we'll
Right.
just dip in here quickly. What Lady is saying, parents should encourage and be allowed to have conversations in a safe space. That's between child and parent. And then also to prevent bullying at school is to form a partnership between parents, teachers, and respect should be non-negotiable, like you alluded to. And then the last comment would then be, Pastor Renine Pedro says, good morning, children have too many rights. Our days, we did not even know how to spell rights. Bring terug die slaangoed en Bible study in die school en kyk hoe verander dinge. So there's more people who commented, but we're just highlighting to the actual comments that we can contribute to the show. So from our side,
Yes, beloveds, we came to the end of our show. God loves you. We love you too. Go in the peace of the Lord. Mwah.
bye.
Bye.
From broken to brave, watch me blooming strong.